What an interesting day it was yesterday, an interesting evening it was, and I think many of us were very scared to close our eyes in case something else happened. But finally, I think most of us did manage to get a bit of sleep, and here we are the next day still talking about what is going on. There's been widespread reaction to the postponement of the State of the Nation address that was scheduled to take place in Parliament's National Assembly tomorrow night. This despite last week's announcement by National Assembly Speaker Baleka Mbete that there would be no postponement. What could have shifted between then and yesterday? Well, talking about this and many other issues surrounding the State of the Nation address and the postponement and, of course, the future of President Jacob Zuma, we've got Professor Susan Boyson, who is a political analyst from the University of the Witwatersrand, and political analyst Prince MASHELE, who are going to interrogate some of these issues. Good to be talking to you again. So as we were during a break, I was reading a news story that we're putting together, basically saying that yesterday we saw that meeting being called by the opposition parties with the Speaker of Parliament and the Speaker of the Houses. And then the announcement came out saying that we're going to postpone SONA because we're scared that chaos is going to erupt. That came from Baleka Mbete. At the same time, and this is a statement from the presidency saying that no, it was a coincidence that she made that announcement because at the same time the president was writing to the speaker to say, please let us postpone SONA. Who can we believe? Everybody's claiming victory, opposition parties, the Speaker of Parliament and other presidents. So what do you think, Prince?
Here's the thing.
Tell me what's going on.
There is chaos in South Africa.
Yeah, which is... Yeah.
That everyone can see. If you have eyes, you can see that there's chaos. There is no one as we speak who is leading South Africa. You have a president who's sitting in the union buildings who has totally lost the confidence of South Africans. That person knows that he's no longer in charge. There is another person who's sitting in the Lukhanyo House who has his own ideas as to what must happen to the chap who's sitting in the union buildings. And then you have a poor speaker who's in Cape Town, Baleka Mbete, who is not part of the top six, who's trying to second guess what is the thinking of the chaps in the Lukhanyo House. And then we have opposition parties who can see that there's a power vacuum, who are also plotting to lead South Africa. So that is the summary of the chaos that we have. Now, with regard to those statements, we know as a fact that an announcement was made by the Speaker of Parliament before a statement came from the presidency. So the statement that came from the presidency afterwards, it's actually a lie. Baleka decided before the president wrote anything. So the president thought that he was losing face in the process. So he snuck in a statement to project that he's still in power. But we know Jacob Zuma is no longer in power.
I'm going to pause because we're speculating, but hopefully we can stop the speculation because Lukhanyo Calata is now in Parliament. He is being joined by the National Assembly Speaker Baleka Mbete herself. So let's cross over to him now. Lukhanyo, we are trying to speculate as you and I were trying earlier. Hopefully you can get some answers from the Speaker, who I believe is your guest now.
Yeah. Yes, Leanne, good morning. Look, hopefully all this speculation will put an end to all of that speculation right now because, as you rightly pointed out, I am joined by Mama Baleka Mbete, the Speaker of the National Assembly. Ma'am, good morning and thank you so very much for joining us.
Okay, good morning to the listeners and good morning to you, Lukhanyo.
All right. Ma'am, did you sleep well?
Well, I slept soundly when I did finally fall asleep.
All right. And obviously now being the day after and having had some sleep, are you confident that the decision that you guys took to postpone the State of the Nation address was the right one?
I'm very convinced and I have confidence that things will soon be much clearer. We hope to hook up with the presidency sometime, maybe within the next few hours, just to be able to be in a better position to plan more certainly.
All right. Ma'am, if you can just clarify this issue for us, what exactly happened or led up to you making who actually made the decision? Was it you independently as the presiding officers? Was there a request from Lukhanyo House? Was there a request from President Jacob Zuma's office?
Definitely, we were not in touch, or there was no request from Luthuli House. We were, as we had said, planning for Thursday. But of course, as things unfold, and the combination of the mood, the uncertainty, and the consideration of all the people that were going to be making their way. For instance, I have guests from outside the country. And, so I'm not the only one who was in that situation. Clearly, one had to take into account a whole range of issues coming from different angles and at least make an indication. So we thought that, of course, a major consideration is the fact that it is the President of the Republic who actually indicates his availability on a specific date. And therefore, you can't take that step without, going to him, being in touch with him and getting an indication from them whether, in fact, it was okay to postpone. So we went over there. We actually had no appointment. And he was actually about to come out of the meeting. And as we met, he immediately said, I know why you are here, and in fact, I have a proposal. And then he informed us that he was about to write a letter to us. But the set of issues for us were not necessarily what informed his own decision to also raise the same issues about the need to give more time, because we were all aware that there was a process in the ANC. There was even a planned meeting for today for the National Executive Committee, which is the key body in the ANC in between conferences that takes decisions.
So the President's response, in essence, then made the decision easier that you had already taken. Had you already taken the decision when you went to him? Or was it to go and consult?
It was... we can make a decision about postponement, but the point is it's got to have his involvement, because in any case, he is the prime mover in the whole issue of the cooperative governance that is, in fact, a key principle that underpins how our democracy works.
Ma'am, and then let's talk obviously about the knock-on effect of this. Is there now a discussion about a date as to when exactly the SONA will be delivered?
Actually, I was just talking to the Deputy President in his capacity as the leader of government business. I sent him an SMS saying to him, President, morning, please take us into confidence because we have to plan. And, planning for a program of parliament is not just a simple matter. It's a matter that involves a range of stakeholders, a range of sectors of society, and within the state. We all have to work together. For instance, we have to, of necessity, work with the JCPS cluster, the Justice, Crime, Prevention cluster of government, because we are planning for a big occasion, an occasion that involves all three arms of the state and a range of organs of state in terms of your Chapter 9, your sectors of society from business. So we have to inform all these people. For instance, there are a whole range of people who are attending the mining in Daba. Many people coming from the mining in Daba, we have guests from the US, for instance, must know when we are planning to call the State of the Nation address, and therefore are quite anxious.
All right. Ma'am, and then just finally, let's touch on the issue of the budget. You had indicated to us when we were talking last year or last week in the briefing that, the budget, you expect that you won't spend the full budget. Now with the cancel or the postponement, surely then the issue of budget is you either going to hit your full budget, which is 4.3 million, I think, or maybe even exceed it. Is that a concern?
Well, the concern we have is that we should be able to keep the timelines in terms of which we had planned that the budget would be delivered within 2 weeks. And therefore, we are hoping that if we postpone only by a week, we would still be able to start our debate immediately after, say, Thursday, if we postpone to Thursday, which would be desirable from our perspective. But of course, we are not saying there's a decision. Once we do that and we start the debate on the Friday, we would finish the debate the following Monday, and we would have the president, whichever one it is, respond on the Tuesday, and therefore we would still be able to deliver, to have the budget delivered within the time that has been planned on the Wednesday. Now, the question of the budget of Parliament that was planned for in terms of the SONA, we are still going to find out what the facts are about that. To what extent are we losing? How much, in fact, that's a real issue. And we will be able to inform you later.
All right. Ma'am, thank you very much. Thank you very much for joining us. We really do appreciate your time. That was Baleka Mbete, the Speaker of the National Assembly, essentially talking to us just about the decision that was taken yesterday, the fact that she has been in touch with the Deputy President of the country, Cyril Ramaphosa, about a possible date on when the State of the Nation will be delivered. But for now, we await the outcome of that discussion between them. From us in Parliament for the time being, let's take a break, and then back to Leanne after that.